Hi, this is Lisa with Holland Designs Crochet. This is my latest design, the Oma's Garden Afghan, and you can see it's made up of these beautiful floral squares. They're joined together in a join as you go method, so automatically joined by working around the last round of each square, automatically joins to adjacent squares. So I'm going to do a demonstration for you of how the actual squares themselves are made, the flower, and then the rounds of the leaves, and then the edging round. So my blanket is almost finished. I have just one more square to make, and then also I need to do the edging. So I will walk you through now how to actually make these beautiful flowers. For my squares, I'm using this 4 Seasons Pure Wool and Twine 8-ply. It does work up a little bit more like a medium worsted weight, size 4 yarn, but it is listed as a 8-ply, which would normally be a DK weight. But I would recommend probably a size 4 for this one. But you can try whatever you think works best for you. And I'm also using a K hook, so 6.5 millimeter. And I'm using, for my flowers on the sample, I'm using 7 different colors for the flowers. And then I'm using the white for the edging of the squares. And then I think I'm going to do my final edging in a dark green, but I could also do white, or cream. So you can kind of play around with the different colors that you want to use. My last square that I need to make is a yellow. So I'm going to just demonstrate using this yellow here. So begin the first flower by doing a chain 4. And then join with a slip stitch in the 4th chain from hook to form a ring. And then we're going to work our first round by working chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet and chain 1, and then work double crochet into the center of the ring, chain 1, double crochet again into the center of the ring. So you can see how you're spacing your double crochets with a chain 1 in between. And you will repeat that until you have a total of 8 double crochets and 8 chain 1 spaces. And that will include that beginning chain 3 in your stitch count. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then my 8th double crochet, then my last chain, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch in the 2nd chain of the beginning chain 3. So that's my round 1 completed. And then for round 2, I'm going to begin working the petals. So first we're going to just slip stitch in the next chain 1 space, do a chain 1 and a single crochet in the same space. So we have single crochets on this round between the petal sections. So we've got 8 chain 1 spaces, so we're going to have 4 single crochets on this round, and then 4 petal sections. So I'll show you how we work the petals now. We're going to be working 5 petals in each of the 4 petal sections around. So 5 petals times 4 will be 20 petals total on this round, and 4 single crochets in between those. So to do that, we will slip stitch in the next chain, and our first petal is chain 3, and then a double crochet in the 2nd chain from the hook, and then double crochet in 3rd chain from hook, and then slip stitch back into the same space. So you can see that's our first petal created, and we're going to repeat that 4 more times in the same place. So again, chain 3, double crochet in 2nd chain from hook, double crochet in 3rd chain from hook, and join with a slip stitch in the same space. So you can see we've got 2 petals now. So I'll work the next 3, and then I'll show you what that looks like, and then show you how we continue with that round. Okay, I've got most of my petals done here, so I'll just show you what it looks like. So we had 4 sections with 5 petals on each section. So it's my first section, a single crochet in between. That's my second group of petals, single crochet in between, 3rd section of petals, single crochet there, and here I've got 4 petals finished, so just need to work my last petal or complete my last one. So this is the 5th one of the last group. So we will have 20 petals on this round and 4 single crochets in between. After the last petal is finished, in each section you just join with a slip stitch in the same space, and at the end of the round we're just going to do a slip stitch into that first single crochet. So that's the completion of round 2. Again, 20 petals and 4 single crochets. And we're going to go on now to, in the pattern, what is called round 3, and that is being worked here around the center. You can see how we have those 8 double crochets. You can still see those 8 double crochets at the center there. We're going to be working 8 petals, 1 per each of these double crochets. So around, we're basically going to join with a slip stitch around that double crochet at the center, make a petal, and then join around the next double crochet. So I'll just show you how we do that. And again, we'll have 8 petals at the center. So we're just going to go straight from where we are here with our last slip stitch and just slip stitch around the next double crochet, basically directly below that at the center, and make a petal in the same way, which is chain 3, double crochet in second chain from hook, and double crochet in third chain from hook. This time, rather than joining in the same space or around that same double crochet, we're just going to move on to the next one and join with a slip stitch around the next double crochet there. So we've got our petal completed, and we're moving on to the next petal, so our second one. And again, we'll have 8 total here at the center, just to fill out that center petal section on the flower. So I've got my second petal finished, and then I'll just slip stitch around the next double crochet. So when you get to the end of this round and you've completed your 8th petal, then you'll just join again with a slip stitch basically around that first double crochet where you began the center petal section. So you just join there and then fasten off. So I finished the flower. You can see I've got my 20 petals around the outside and the 8 petals at the center here of the completed flower, and I've fastened off. So now I'm going to be joining this lime green color and begin to work round 1 of the leaves. So I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to initially join at the back of the flower, and we're going to join here underneath the center petal of that one of the 5 petal sections. So you can just find one of your 5 petal sections, find the center petal, and then insert your hook from the back of the flower like that, and join with a single crochet. Then do a chain 1, and then we're going to be working in the single crochets between the petal sections, and we're going to work a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch, chain 1 again, and another double crochet, chain 1, and our 4th double crochet there in the same stitch. So that's what we're working between the petal sections in that single crochet between. We're working 4 double crochets and chain 1s in between. Then we do again another chain 1. Now we're going to again want to work a single crochet beneath the center petal of the next 5 petal section, inserting our hook from the back under that center petal and working a single crochet there. Then chain 1 and move across to the next single crochet and repeat that same process then with the double crochets, the 4 double crochets and chain 1s between, all in the same space there. So this is round 1 of the leaves, if you're following the written pattern. And then again a chain 1, and then again a single crochet here, the back of the center petal, just working around that base there at the center petal, single crochet, or sorry, chain 1 again, and then just repeat that 2 more times. So we have a total of 4 repetitions since we have 4 single crochets and 4 petal groups on this round. So we're going to have this repetition done 4 times. So this is what's going to turn it into a square. Chain 1 again at the end of that, and then our last single crochet there, the base of the center petal of the last section, petal section, chain 1, and then find the last single crochet between the petal sections and repeat that last double crochet, chain 1, grouping here of 4 double crochets total. Some of these rounds go pretty quickly, so they're not too many stitches really. Then chain 1, and then the end of this round, just join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet, just to end your round there with a slip stitch join. So that's the end of round 1 of the petals. So you can see what it looks like from the back. Got your 4 sort of corners there. So I'll go on then and show you how to work round 2 of the leaves. So now to begin round 2 of the leaves, we're going to do chain 1 and a single crochet in the same space. Then we've got our 4 double crochets and the chain 1s in between here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a chain 1, and we're going to work what is known as a 2 double crochet cluster stitch. It looks like that, and a chain 1, and we'll work 2 more of those in the same space there. So the 2 double crochet cluster stitch is yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and repeat that process. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through everything on your hook. So that's a 2 double crochet cluster. So we've got 2 of those worked, and we're going to work a 3rd one in the same place. So that's our 3rd one completed. And now we're going to work another chain 1 and a single crochet in the next chain 1 space, and then chain 1, and repeat the 3 2 double crochet clusters in the next chain 1 space with a chain 1 in between each of those. So that's our 2nd one, and do a 3rd one in the same space. Chain 1 after that. So you can see what that looks like so far. And we had that chain 1 at the end. And now in the next single crochet, we're just going to work another single crochet in the same place. And then again, we'll repeat our 2 double crochet cluster groups that we did already. This is really creating a nice looking leaf. And we'll just repeat this all the way around the square. So that's the first half there. Chain 1, a single crochet in the center chain 1 space of that 4 double crochet group there. Chain 1 again, and then repeat again our 2 double crochet cluster group here. Again, chain 1 and a single crochet in the next single crochet. So I've got 2 repetitions done. I'll do 2 more to complete the round, and then I'll just join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet. So let me finish this and I'll show you what it looks like. So I've completed round 2 of the leaves. In the pattern, I refer to this as a cluster shell. So it's just 3 of those 2 double crochet clusters to create a cluster shell. So you do have a total of 8 of those on round 2 of the leaves. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and you have single crochets in between, 4 single crochets in between. So that's the end of round 2 and the end of the lime color. So next I'm going to move on to using a darker green, and the one I'm using is somewhat of a dark olive green. So let me just grab that, and this will be now round 3 of the leaves. So I'm going to be joining with a double crochet in just any of the single crochets between the leaves or the leaf groups. So we'll join with a double crochet, and then we'll do a chain 1 and double crochet in the same space. So that essentially amounts to a V stitch. And then from here we're going to do a chain 1, a single crochet in the next chain 1 space of the cluster there, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1. Then at the corner in between the 2 leaves here, we're going to work double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then repeat that again, another double crochet and chain 1, and our 4th double crochet and chain 1. So that's our corner. So we've got 4 double crochets with chain 1s in between and our chain 1 at the end. And then again we're going to repeat our single crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, and then work a V stitch in the next single crochet, so you can see that's pretty much what we began with here when we joined. So we've got our square again being shaped, and we just repeat that all the way around the square. Now as you're working your squares, you may find that they are slightly wavy. When you lay them flat, they do flatten out relatively well, but they might have a little bit of a wave to them initially. As you're joining them, they will lay nice and flat as well as you join them to the other squares, but it may just look slightly wavy as you're working them. Partly it's because we have so much variance here with these leaves being created that it may look a little bit wavy initially, and also because you have this big textured flower here at the center. But as the squares are completed, they should basically lay flat for the most part. So you can see that when you look at the finished blanket as well, that they all do join together nicely and straighten out. So hopefully you shouldn't have to do any blocking, but of course everybody's stitching intention can vary slightly. So if you need to block your squares, you can do that as well, or try and vary your hook size a little bit if you find that your squares aren't laying quite as flat as you'd like them. Maybe go down a hook size to have a little bit of a tighter tension. So you might want to just vary that if you need to. My gauge generally is, I think, just basically an average gauge, so I don't crochet too tightly or too loosely, but basically just right, or just in the middle. But you can vary your hook or see what you need to do to make your squares lay properly. So I will just finish this round, and then I'll come back and show you how to work the next round of the leaves with the olive green color. So on the next round, we're going to again be working some of those double crochet clusters. So this is my last corner and my last 2 single crochets, chain 1, and then Here I'll just join in the top of the first double crochet to complete the round. So you can see what I mean about just a slight waviness. As you kind of stretch it and pull it out, it basically lays flat. Now beginning on round 4 of the leaves, we're going to move our hook here by doing a slip stitch in the chain 1 space of that first V stitch, then do a chain 2 and double crochet in the same space, which basically counts as our first 2 double crochet cluster, then do a chain 1 and work another 2 double crochet cluster in the same space, chain 1, and work our third 2 double crochet cluster in the same space. So essentially that's basically a 2 double crochet cluster shell there at the beginning. Do a chain 1 there, then a single crochet in the chain 1 space between the 2 single crochets, chain 1, and now we're going to work in the corner again. We're going to do our 3 2 double crochet clusters and the chain 1s between in that first chain 1 space. So this is the same thing we did on round 2 of the leaves, the same stitching, a chain 1 and a single crochet in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, and then again do our cluster shell here with the 3 2 double crochet clusters. Chain 1, single crochet in the chain 1 space between the next two single crochets, chain 1 here, and then again repeating with the 2 double crochet shell stitch here, cluster shell stitch in the center of that V stitch. So that's the repetition and the spacing for the stitches on this round. So we'll just repeat that all the way around and then join with a slip stitch in the basically the top of the first cluster here. So basically you probably join in the double crochet, so join there. So let me finish this round, I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll move on to the edging rounds. Okay, now that round 4 of the leaves has been completed, I'm just going to fasten off the green and begin working with the cream or white, I think it's a cream color that I'm using for the edging rounds. So for the edging, we're just going to join with a double crochet here in a single crochet right before a corner, do a chain 1 and another double crochet in the same place, so that's again like a V stitch, and then chain 1, single crochet in the next chain 1 space between the clusters, chain 1, single crochet in that next chain 1 space, chain 1, and now at the corners we're going to do again our 4 double crochets with the chain 1s in between to create that nice corner. So this round is very much the same as what we did on round 3 of the leaves. So you can again see the placement is the same. There's just an extra repetition along the sides since the square has gotten bigger. So we're going to do a V stitch here. And then a single crochet here and here across the side, across to our second V stitch. So we just repeat that all the way around all 4 sides. Again with the corner 4 double crochets and the V stitches along the sides. So this is basically round 5, or you could also say round 1 of the edging, but in the pattern it says round 5. And then we just have one more round after this, round 6. And if you're just making your first square, round 6 will just be worked around all 4 sides, and then you'll fasten off. If you're working your second square or any subsequent squares and you want to join them automatically, I'll show you how we do a join as you go method to join these squares together. Very similar to what you would do joining any granny squares, but in this case we're not actually making, you know, granny squares, but we have on the last round we have just single crochets and chain ones. And so when you're joining, I'll show you how we do it, but basically you're just replacing a chain with a slip stitch in the adjacent square. So the only thing you need to do is just make sure everything is lined up properly and that you are joining with a slip stitch in the correct spot so that nothing is misplaced. So that's the only thing you need to focus on. And of course, if for some reason you do find the join as you go method hard to do, you can instead work all the squares through round 6 and then just maybe sew them together with a whip stitch or possibly a slip stitch seam. So there is an alternate joining method, which is nice to have an option if you prefer to sew them together rather than doing the join as you go method. But I will demonstrate that for you so you can have some confidence in attempting it if you'd like to. So let me just go ahead and finish this one, and then I'll show you how I'm going to attach it to my blanket. Okay, to begin round 6, we're just going to do a chain 1 and a single crochet in the same space. So on round 6, again, we're just doing single crochets and chain 1s. So we're going to do a chain 1, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, single crochet in the next stitch. So we do that all the way around the entire square, including at the corners, and that's how we would finish off round 6 if we're just making our first square, or if we want to just finish them all and then sew them together. Otherwise, if we're going to do a join as you go method, we're going to just work across until we get to the corner. So you see how we've got the single crochets here in these first 2 double crochets, and then rather than doing a chain 1 here and continuing along this side, instead we're going to basically join at this point to an adjacent corner of a square on the blanket. So I'll show you how we do that now. And for some of the squares, you'll join with a slip stitch in like a couple places, like you can do 2 or 3 joins. It just depends on how many squares are meeting and how many slip stitches you need to kind of bring that together. You don't want any gaps or anything between, like say you have 3 or 4 squares meeting, you don't want a gap, so you just attach it basically to the corners of several adjacent squares there. So I'll show you how we'll do that now as I join it into the blanket. Okay, I'm going to begin now to join. So you can see I've done my second crochet, single crochet here at the corner, and rather than doing a chain 1, I'm just going to join in the chain 1 space at an adjacent corner here. So I'm just going to do a slip stitch join, which basically replaces the chain. And then from there, I'm just going to always just be working a single crochet in the next stitch, as so, and then a slip stitch in the next chain 1 space of the adjacent square. So let me just see if I can move my blanket into a different direction, make it easier to show you. So we just repeat that process. So we'll just go ahead then and work a single crochet in the next double crochet, and then slip stitch in the next chain 1 space, single crochet in the next single crochet, slip stitch in the next chain 1 space. So I'm doing this join with the right side of my squares facing me, and continuing along this side and joining it here. So again, a join as we go, join as you go method. And as I'm doing this, I can double check to make sure that I'm lining it up correctly, that I'm not misplacing any of my slip stitches. I'll show you what it looks like as we're continuing. So you can see that it's all lined up properly. And if it's not, if you get it out of alignment, you can easily just pull it back and try again, redo that particular side, or fix whatever mistake you may have made. So there's my single crochet there, and slip stitch in that chain 1 space, single crochet in the last double crochet of this side. So I'm basically at the corner again, and then I'm going to be in a position now where I've got several squares coming together, so I can do a slip stitch join here, and I can also do the same thing on this corner, and I can also do one here on this corner. So there's basically four squares all coming together. I've just done 3 slip stitches, and then I will just continue working my single crochets along the second side and then joining it to this square here with the slip stitches in the chain 1 spaces. So hopefully you can see how that is done, and I'll just go back and show you what the first side looks like, so you can see that it is done correctly and it's lined up. So you see how the V stitches and the single crochets are opposite each other, so they're completely lined up and you don't have anything off center or misaligned, so you can see that you've done it correctly, and it creates that pattern there. So I'll just continue to do that along the remaining side of the square here all the way to the corner, and then that will be the last square of my blanket that's been joined together. And then the only thing left is the final edging, which I'll show you also in a moment. Once I finish this joining side, then I just need to continue the rest of the row 6, or round 6 edging all the way back to this single crochet here and join before I fasten off. So I will complete the full edging on this square as well, and then move on to the final edging, which is a ribbed edging on the main blanket. So this is the last square now, completely joined. You can see I've got it matched up here along the side, and I finished the rest of the edging round and joined here and then fastened off. So I still need to sew in my ends, so I'll be doing that in the next few days. The blanket itself had 35 squares for my sample. You can obviously make it any size you want, make more squares or fewer squares. So mine was 7 squares by 5 squares. And the way I did the colors, you can see how the colors are just basically on a diagonal. So the colors repeat just on a diagonal. So that's always a good way to do it. And the edging I'm doing with this dark olive green color. So I'm working 10 half double slip stitches in back loops only in those short rows, and joining with slip stitch in the single crochets and in the chain 1 spaces here at the edge of the square. So I really love how that dark green brings out the green of the leaves. And I had quite a bit of this particular color on hand to use, so I thought I'd give it a try, and I think it looks amazing. So I hope you do enjoy this new pattern, and it's kind of a fun one to stitch. Make it in pieces and join it when you have time. So I hope you do enjoy this new design. Very colorful, very spring-like, very cheerful. So happy stitching. I'm just finishing up the edging. Now the blanket is completed, so I've done my half double slip stitch back loops only around all 4 sides, and now I'm just adding a final edging round around the outside. So sometimes, I mean, I use this edging often on a lot of my blankets, but sometimes it's kind of nice to give a little bit more structure at the edge so it's not as stretchy. And so what I'm doing this time is I'm just doing a chain 1 in between, and then doing a front post single crochet around each of the ribbed rows. So you've got the ribbing, and I'm just putting my hook underneath the 2 bars of that half double slip stitch at the end of the row, and just doing a front post single crochet and a chain 1 in between. So essentially I'm skipping a row because the ribbing on the opposite side is being skipped. And I know I'm working with a dark green color here, so maybe a little bit harder to see than if I was using a lighter color, but basically just a front post single crochet around the end, this last stitch here of the ribbed rows that are on the right side of your work as you're looking at the completed blanket. And that, I mean, you don't have to do this, but I think it's going to be pretty just to give it a nice finished edge for this particular blanket. So it's not too tight, it's still, you know, got stretch to it, but maybe just help it to keep its shape a little bit nicer. Sometimes it stretches slightly, so that's just going to help give it a nice finished edge. So I wanted to show you what that looks like. I'll make a note in the pattern that that's what I've done on mine. So give that a try if you want to. And I guess when I get to working in the stitches here where I don't actually have the ribbing right at this edge, when I'm coming back around here, I'll just maybe work a front post single crochet around one of the stitches and then a chain one. Just place them that way around the single, or so they are actually front post half double crochets there, but it's not like a ribbing like here. But you can just work a front post stitch, skip one with and have a chain, and then same kind of placement basically along those type of edges there where you're working in stitches rather than in ends of rows. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you really enjoy working this beautiful spring, summery, garden-like pattern.